of us just have a little, and we give a little out of our little. Now, which is greater, the little out of the little, or the little out of the lot? Y'all better stay with me. But when you give in your only, help me with this. When the little widow had 2 mites, Jesus said she gave more than all of these because she gave all. When you give your only, you're doing something. But just because you gave that little out of all of your abundance, you haven't done anything. You haven't impressed God. But when you give God a little out of your little, but there are some people who will give a lot out of their little. Y'all want me to stay there? David said, I'm going to have to buy this because I'm not going to do this. Well, read what he said. Read what he said.
Neither will I offer burnt offerings unto the Lord my God, of that which doeth cost me nothing.
I'm not going to give God something that costs me anything. That's not a sacrifice. You give me $100 as a gift, as an anniversary or something. And then I turn around next Sunday, I'm going to get the church $100. What's that? That's not a gift. We exchanging money. Y'all stay with me. And I'm not picking on nobody, but if a pastor get $10,000 in an anniversary and he get the church back $100, y'all stay with me. If you make $2,000 a week and you put $20 in all and put tithes on it, David said, I'm not going to give, it's going to have to cost me something. So he bought the land. Read what it said.
So David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver.
Mm-hmm.
And David built there an altar unto the Lord and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings.
2 offerings. The burnt offering is for the sins. That's the sacrificial offering. The peace offering is to make fellowship come back. He's making peace with God because he realized I still have a relationship with my God, but I don't have fellowship with him. And I need peace with him because right now I'm not in peace with him because I need to offer something. And that's why we must ask God to forgive us. If now we don't go out and offer a sacrifice. When we do something wrong, when we know it's wrong, we have to ask God to forgive us. We need to make peace with God. It doesn't mean that I'm no longer a child of God, but it means that I'm out of fellowship with God. And you walking around here and you just touch your neighbor out. Because they build a fence 1 foot over on your land. All you need to do is call down to your lawyer and say, look, he won't move his property, his fence. You don't have to cuss him out. You can make him move it and pay. But you go out there and cuss him out. Y'all get in a fight. Now you go to jail because you started it. When all you had to do was stand on your rights. And as a child of God, all you have to do is stand on your rights. When men talk about you and say all manners of evil against you, you don't have to jump in there and you another one. They call you 4-eyed something, you say, well, you another one. Pastor, I don't use that bad words, them bad language. I just told them there's another one. They start talking about your mama and stuff like that. You said, and when they start talking about something, you said, well, your mama. Y'all done that. Don't tell y'all act like y'all done that. You just said that because you knew that would push their button. You don't ever talk about nobody's mama. So David offered a sacrificial offering and a peace offering because he wanted fellowship back. The people are being destroyed because of him. Let me tell you what happened. When David asked Joab to go number the people, you remember the story with David and Bathsheba? When he went into another man's wife and got her pregnant? That's when this happened. David was the king, and the people told him, said, you've been going in and out, you've been leading the people, and it's time for you now. You don't have to go to fight now. See, some folks good by sending you to war. It's easy to send somebody else's children to war. Your children past the age of going to war. You too old to go. You'll just send folks fighting all over the world. But the people told David, now you're getting a little older now. You defeated Goliath. You've done this. You don't need to go out to fight. And while David was at the house in the palace, he saw Bathsheba. His folks was out there fighting in the field. He had too much time. Y'all not in here with me. Again, I'm not picking on anybody. I just think I'll need to talk about the pulpit before I say anything about y'all. And you got pastors and preachers with too much time on their hands. Y'all stay with me. And some of them need to go get a job. But they got too much time on their hands. They're not visiting the sick. They're not going to the jail. They don't need all that time on their hands. And then you going to work. You married to one of them. And you going to work. And he got too much time on his hands. And David had too much time on his hand. And he saw Bathsheba bathing. And the Bible says he saw her on her roof. His roof was elevated. The king's palace, everything was under. And there was no roof that was higher than the king. Because he's looking down on her. She doesn't know he's looking. He's taking a good look. He's taking his time. She's taking a bath. And he's looking. He doesn't know who she is or if she has anybody or not. So he asked her, send one of his servants. Do you know who that is? Go find out who that is. And when they said Uriah's wife, Uriah was one of these men that was out there in the field fighting for David. And he knew that was that man. See, you get deployed somewhere. I got to stay right there because this is in my message. You get deployed somewhere, and while you gone somewhere, and then the devil go try to spy to see what he can do to come and tear your place. And David the king, he's sitting there watching this. He knows this woman married to somebody that's fighting for him. Don't you know that should strain the relationship between David and his men? And they found it out, by the way. After finding out, he sent for her. Tell her to come by. I want to have dinner with me. And once she got to the palace, he made a move on her. Now, he didn't have them to put on the CD player. But I promise he turned the lights down a little bit. Y'all stay with me. I was listening to Teddy Pendergrass the other day. Somebody, he was singing on somebody. I said, boy, I wish I'd had that back in the day. I didn't need that with Sister Valerie. All I had to do was tell her to come in. I did. I just said, come in. Brother Billy over there, he's talking, Pastor, you messing up. David sent for that woman. And while she's there, they went all the way. But she got pregnant. So David said, go tell her husband, bring him in off the battlefield, let him come home for a little while. I want him to go in unto her and have a little R&R. Yep, go. But Uriah wouldn't go in. And that's when David then got with Joab. Now think about what's happening here. Now David is coercing his commander to destroy one of his men that's under him. And so you want to trust those that's ordering you to go into harm's way. And Joab had a note made from David. He said, now he gave that note to Uriah, and he said, Uriah, give this to, no, well, David gave the note to Uriah and said, I want you to give this to Joab. And he gave that note to Joab. Joab knew he was getting ready to cause a man to lose his life. So you can have that relationship. He was still his commander. He still had the relationship, but there's no fellowship there. The people were being destroyed. It's the same time that I'm talking about when David had those three options. That's when this was happening. See, when you are in sin, in one area of your life, it's going to affect another area of your life. See, if you have drugs going on in your life, it's going to affect your job. If you have drugs going on in your life, it's going to affect your other relationship with other people because drugs make you crazy. If you have a problem with alcohol, it's a drug. It causes you to be aggressive and causes you to lose inhibitions, and you get all boisterous and want to fight. So wherever one area you have in your life you have sin, it's going to affect other areas. Can I talk about y'all? Man, I don't believe in that going to that boat, Pastor. I just play a little bingo. Y'all see, there's nobody there. I don't believe in going down there gambling and throwing them dice and stuff. I just buy a scratch off every now and then. I'm not going to stay there. But wherever you have, David had sin in his life in more than one area. It wasn't just normally in Israel. He was committing adultery with Bathsheba. He was out of fellowship with God. He still had a relationship because he said his heart began to be sorry. He was sad. He was sorrowful that what he had done. And that's the difference between David and many people. Whenever David was sin, the Bible said he would immediately or in a quick or rapid fashion ask God to forgive him. So you can have relationships without fellowship. And if you're in a relationship with somebody, they're not nice to you, that's no fellowship. It's not easy. They're not easy to get along with. That's no fellowship. It's a strain. That's no fellowship. Your relationship, you're connected, you're linked together. Brother, I'm praying for you. But when you get on the board, you're going to be connected. But that don't mean you're going to have fellowship. And you're going to have your hands full. When you get on anything, and the one that you're hooking up with and getting in relationship with, that don't mean you're going to have fellowship with them. I was on a job 30 years, and I promise you, only 6 months of that 30 years, I had fellowship. I had fellowship only 6 months. That was the first 6 months. And almost up to the day I left, I caught trouble. But one thing, y'all heard me tell this, only thing was in my folder was my original application and my birth certificate. Y'all not in here with me. They may have wanted to write me up, but they couldn't write me up because I knew what it took. I went out there to get that blue and white check. I wasn't out there trying to make friends with nobody. I didn't care if the foreman didn't speak to me, and some of them did. I didn't care if the department manager didn't speak to me, and some of them did. But they had to come through me for my job. They had to come through me. Y'all not happy. And I just did my job. We didn't have fellowship, but we had a relationship. I know what I'm talking about. And I went almost 30 years without fellowship with some folk. But I made a living out there. I left there, and they still out there. And since now I've gone on the other side of the fence, now I can lick my tongue out. Tell me, Holy Ghost. Don't ever lick your tongue out, you still on that side of the fence. They told me after you jump over the fence, then you turn around and lick your tongue out. That's what happened. A little boy, they playing ball. And the ball kept going over into the pastor over the fence into the man where the bull was. He said, "Oh, he won't bother, he won't bother." He jumped over the fence, go get the ball. Didn't bother, no, didn't bother. Ball got knocked over there again. He went over there and got it, didn't bother. Well, that third time he went over there, he picked up the ball, he licked his tongue out at the bull. And when he licked his tongue out at the bull didn't run on him. And he said, "Man, you said that bull wasn't going to do nothing." He said, "Yeah, but you got to lick your tongue out on this side of the fence." I want us to preserve fellowship. Fellowship is more important than a relationship. Always remember that. Mamas, daddies, fellowship is more important than relationship. Just because that's your child. Relationship doesn't trump fellowship. Because that child gives some of y'all such headaches, you're crying all night long. You're worried about all this. It's every day, it's almost something else, every day. Children on your mind, on your heart, worrying your heart. And the reason it's bothering your heart because you're in a relationship with them. But if y'all was in true fellowship, there'll be some easiness going on, some kindness going on, some friendship going on, some loving things going on. See, whenever you're in a relationship and you're not getting friendly vibes and kindness out of that, you're being abused. It's hard to, well, I just said, it's hard to work along somebody that doesn't like you. It's very difficult to sing Zion song that somebody can't stand you. It's very difficult to stand next. You can simply working in the kitchen together, trying to stir the pot. You get to arguing about, well, it's my time. You're arguing about stuff. But in this lesson today, David fell into a sin because he saw Bathsheba. And from that sin, other sins popped up in his life. And he began to number his soldiers.